Hi everyone. This is Julie Vernon. I wanted to share with you a little bit about the Cami extension. I've been using it for a little bit, actually a lot, because it allows students to write directly on documents, and I've really liked how it integrates with Schoology. So I wanted to walk you through some of the steps. The first is that you need to install it into your Chrome. So here's the Cami extension. You need to install it. Mine's installed already. Um, and once it's installed, then you can click on it in the corner where you see the extension, and you'll sign in with your school address, your Google address. Because I already have an account, it's already in, so it's hard to show you. Um, so once you've set up Cami using the school email address, it will give you a license, and that's might be important in the future, but it isn't at this very moment. But when your students want to use Cami, they too have to install the Cami extension, but they do not need to do anything else. They're going to install the Cami extension, and then when you go to Schoology, and you create your first assignment, let's look. Um, Actually, I'll do it down here. You should see, if you're linked to Cami, you should see this Cami icon down here. So we're going to call this Cami test. And I want to assign a PDF or a slide presentation that I've created. So I'm actually going to click on Cami. This is going to look familiar to you. I am going to go to my drive and type in the document that I want to use. So this is now a Cami document. So what it did was it turned this Google Doc into a Cami doc, and that's a PDF. So it translates it into a PDF, assign it whatever points, call it ungraded for me, assign it the sections, create. So when students go to click on this, their screen is going to look like this, and they'll open with Cami. Once they open it, it's going to assign a title that has their name. So mine is here, Julie Vernon, Literary Elements in the Diary of Anne Frank. And each student will have this automatically in their drive as a PDF. So the reason I like this option is because kids can write directly in the document. So when I want them to answer a question, they can just type in. Or they can highlight. draw on stuff, erase what they've done. They can, so let me walk you through a few things. So I ask them, okay, who says this? What does he or she mean? And answer it in 3 to 5 sentences. I can either model this with them and they can type into their notes, which I've done some of, or I have them do this on their own. This entire slideshow was something we did in class, and I left about 5 slides for them to complete on their own after I modeled a few with them. So they looked at the characterization and they can answer the question right in here using their text. Anne is mischievous. Spelled that wrong. Lonely. And where do I see evidence of that? You get the idea. Then, because this assignment is linked to Schoology, when I want them to turn it in, they click in this Turn In button. It's going to bring them to this, where they again have to touch Turn In. And it's going to export it because I'm a teacher and the course it won't allow me to. It'll export it and put it into the submission box. And you'll be able to then, let me show you. See if I can come up with a student's example. When I look at a student's example here, I can say grade with Cami. And I can make comments here. So if I want to add a comment here, I can, and I can move this to where I want them to see my comment. It'll stay on the right-hand side, but the box will identify, or the circle will identify where I'm commenting. I can also mark up. So if I want to say, hey, you didn't spell Mrs. Frank correctly or whatever, I can, or you didn't capitalize, I can also highlight that and make a comment on there. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful, but this has been really a lifesaver for me. At the beginning of every unit, I put everything that we're going to do. What would normally be a handout probably ends up in a digital notebook, and we either use it together in class or they complete some of it on their own. So the other reason I like Cami is because at the end of a bell, I can see who actually did work for me and did work along with me. So, like I said, when a student opens an assignment in Cami or in Schoology using the Cami app, it automatically puts their first name in the document. So, and then it saves a copy of it that is shared with me. So I can click on this and I can look and see what the student has done. I opened it with Cami, notice. So I can look and see what the student has done. I can leave comments on what the student has done. And also, what I like about it is the work that they do is saved with their name on it, so I can always just do a search. So let's say we just did literary. I can type in Julie Vernon. I like to do last modified, because we all have a list of students who sometimes get sidetracked during class. So it's at the end of a bell, I do like to look to see who's keeping up. And then I This is it in the PDF version, which is clean. If I opened it with Cami, it would be with the comments that the student made. But what's nice about that view is that you can just scroll down and see who's keeping up by looking at it that way. So when I look at it after I've done my search for a student and I just want to take a quick peek to see if he or she is kept up, I can look at it here. If I want the work to be more interactive, I can open with Cami and then give feedback directly on it. And notice that I opened this without using Schoology. So if I want students to come back to this assignment, I would just tell them to search their Google Drive. They don't always have to go back to the assignment as it's listed in Schoology. Okay, because it will have the name, so I can just say to them, this is the name of the assignment. They should be able to find it directly in their Google Drive and open it with Cami to continue working. The other thing I wanted to point out is if I am modeling something in class, I'm going to want to make a file for each bell so that what I'm modeling in bell 5 is empty for bell 6. So I can, model it in bell 5 and save it as bell 5's work and then model it in bell 6. So that was a little bit unnerving to me the first time I tried to do something and thought, oh, I can just use this same file for all 3 classes. When I went to teach the other classes, the annotations from the first class came up. And then we were all working from one document, which also didn't work very well. So that's just a heads up. I do think that having the work from each bell separate is helpful for them as well. If they ever need, if there's a student with um, a 504 or something that requires maybe notes from class, this is a good way to give them those notes as well. Thanks.